Hello everyone, welcome to, I don't know what this is called. I would call it a masterclass, but I wouldn't say I was a master in this. And it should be interesting because I've never really given lessons before. So I don't know what I'm doing, but I hope you enjoy it. And I couldn't figure out whether to do this for actual drummers or just everyone, for those that aren't drummers or even musicians but just might be interested. So I'll try and keep it super basic so that anyone can watch and kind of follow along. I'm going to basically play through a few songs and show you what I do behind the kit, because as much as I've lobbied for me to be at the front of the stage, in the middle, it hasn't quite worked out that way. And I don't know if you've noticed me, but I'm always stuck at the back. I often like, when we go abroad and do promo and tours, I like to ask the journalists who don't know McFly who they think the lead singer is before they actually find out. And more often than not, they think it's me, and they think Tom's the drummer. I don't know why I felt the need to say that, but just highlighting all my insecurities. So yeah, as I said, I'm always at the back. You probably can't see what I'm doing. Maybe you don't care. If you don't, switch off. If you do, stick around. I'm going to show you some things. And I thought I'd start with 5 Colours in Her Hair, because that's a song that we've been playing for a very long time, and it's a song that's evolved over the years. If you listen to the original record, it's great. It was a massive hit for us, but it's very kind of clean and poppy. We re-recorded the song for an American version, maybe about 2 or 3 years after that, to more how we kind of wanted it to sound. And then since then it's evolved a bit more. And the way I like to show people is the live version. I think that's where it sounds at its best. It's always in our sets, often at the back end of the sets. It's a fun song to play. It's a fast song. Most songs, with any instrument, I guess, but particularly with drums, there's a dynamic in the song. And that dynamic is controlled by how hard you hit the drums, and often how much your hi-hat is closed or open. So generally, in pop songs, not always, but often, through the verses in McFly songs, hi-hats are closed and it's played a bit quieter. And then in the choruses, you lift the dynamic, open the hi-hat, more cymbals, and it's a bit bigger. Whereas in 5 Colours in Her Hair, right from the beginning, the hi-hats are open and you're away. And the dynamic the whole way through is just full on, in your face, and really energetic. So for those that don't know, this is the hi-hat. And I should just open it a little bit more. You can see I have a pedal on my left foot. That's closed. That's open. Closed. Open. So as you can tell, a massive difference there. So what I'll do is, what I've got here is I've got the anthology version of 5 Colours in Her Hair. I think I'll just play the intro and then stop and then talk about the intro, talk about the couple of fills that are in there, what the rhythm is. Oh, and I might add, I just listened to this, and there's this intro in there where I'm playing snares at the beginning, da 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 and da and da, and Danny's shouting over the top of it. We don't normally do that, so I'll kind of ignore that bit. But it was I think it was the beginning of the set, and we just thought that was a really energetic way to start the show. But I'll come in from where we normally come in from. All right, there we go. That's the intro. It's funny. So even I noticed when I was just sound checking before we hit record, I was playing just sort of super chilled. But then as soon as our camera's on and you're going, you just naturally give it more energy. And that's often the challenge when I find as a drummer, I'm sure the guys, we talked about it before, similar playing guitar, is the energy and the nerves and the adrenaline of when you're playing a show is to control them, because when you're nervous or the adrenaline's pumping, you naturally just like grab the sticks and it's super tight, and and that definitely affects the feel. So yeah, it's about being nice and relaxed, but having that energy at the same time. So That intro, like I said, it's full on straight away from the start. I'm hitting the drums pretty hard. The intro, which isn't on the record, the guys start with this guitar thing. You know, I think Danny plays the riff, and Tom, one of the two, they play this, which I'll just, my drum noises are better than my guitar noises. But I'll play it to you now.
Let's go!
So.
Are you ready? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
So that's where the drums come in. So you got a down and down and down and down drums. Right, so that fill is a really fast fill and it sounds quite impressive, but it's actually pretty easy. I shouldn't be giving away all my secrets here. I'll play it and then I'll talk through what it is. So that fill basically is just right, left, kick, kick, right, left, kick, but just really fast. And then I move the hands around from the snare around the toms. So if I just play it on the snare, you'll see what I mean. So just right, left, kick, kick, right, left, kick, kick. So when I say right, left, I mean obviously right hand, left hand. So right, left, kick, kick, right, left, kick, kick. I'll play that and then I'll just slowly speed it up and you'll see how it comes together. So then if I move that around the toms, so I go right, left, kick, kick, right, left, kick, kick. You see how that suddenly sounds cool because you've got different drums going on, it's faster. And then if I finish the phrase with, it finishes on the snare. But if I finish that with a snare and a cymbal, it sounds even better. So like this. And then you're in. So if you want to learn that, you're going to have to be patient. It took me quite a few years to get that up to speed, but it is simply right, left, kick, kick. Right, left, kick, kick. And then once you've got that, you can move that around the kit however you like. And I use it later on in the song, actually, on different drums for another fill. Once that fill's done, I'm straight into the verse, and then it's just a rhythm the whole way through, right up to the first bit of vocal. Now, the snare and the hi-hat is literally playing. And then the bass drum is kind of following a lot of the notes in the riff that Dougie's playing on his bass. So I'll play that slowly. I'll play it through and then I'll play it slowly. So that's the rhythm, and that's pretty much the rhythm the whole way through the song. You know, I mix it up sometimes, but as long as I'm following that same pattern that Dougie's playing, then it works. Now, another thing I should point out about Five Colours in a Head, there's a slight bounce to it, a slight swing. For those that don't know what that means, I'll try and explain that basically. So if I was playing it straight, it would sound like this. Right? With the same beat with a bit of a swing. So hopefully you can spot the difference there. So a bit of a swing. The kick drum pattern is do ga do ga do ga do ga do ga do ga. So it's all about the offbeat, which is the offbeat being the one that's not playing on the actual beat. So if you play the drums, I imagine you'll be able to play that. So it's just that a bit faster. You get up to bit with the vocal and I hit the snare on the 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. She's got a lip ring. Okay. So obviously there's just stops there. So before the vocal comes in, it just stops on the 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. Da 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 da. 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. Da 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 da. And then you're into the rest of the verse and the pre and the chorus. And it's pretty much the same the whole way through. Something you'll definitely notice if you're a drummer, but if you're not, is obviously I'm hitting cymbals. And generally, I'll use cymbals to mark out sections. So going into a verse or going into a chorus, just to mark those sections so you feel that kind of dynamic lift into those major parts of the songs. So I'll play through that first chorus. And then the second verse is the same. I stop on the first part of the second verse with the vocal. And then actually what I do live in the second verse is I play through the drop out. I play this halftime part, which I did ages ago, years and years ago, which, you know, the guys liked and felt good. And so I've just done it ever since. So that's the only difference. And then in the second verse, the pre-chorus, I don't stop. I carry on and it builds and builds and builds. It builds with the vocal, and then I just do that same fill as I do in the intro into the second chorus. So I'll play that through. I'll play through from where we were. So I'll play through the whole first chorus and second verse.
Who's always here to fire under whip? She don't care. Everybody wants to know her name. I threw her house party and she came. Everyone asked me who the hell is she? That widow with 5 colors in her hair. She's just a loner with a sexy attitude. I'd like to phone her 'cause she puts me in the mood. The rumors spreading round that she could be a dude. But she don't care. But she don't care. Everybody wants to know her.
Yeah, so playing through that, I realise there are a couple of extra bits. But, so yeah, I'm not perfectly in time because this isn't to a click. So I'm just playing off just what I can hear. So excuse me if I'm out slightly. But yeah, so that second verse, so you got that, I don't know, what are the lyrics? She's into fashion, but she's not into fashion.
She's just a loner with a sexy attitude.
Ooh, she's just a loner with a sexy attitude. Ooh. Yeah, so after that you hear I play a fill and then carry on.
That widow with 5 colors in her hair. She's just a loner with a sexy attitude. I'd like to phone her 'cause she puts me in the mood.
So for those that don't know, that's just basically called halftime. So full time being the, and then halftime being, so just half the time of, from this part here.
Spreading round 'cause she could be a dude. But she don't care.
Yeah.
But she don't care. No. Everybody.
That fill into the chorus is the same as the intro one, but I just play it on different drums. So this one I think I do. Yeah, and then also, if you noticed in that section, in the She Don't Care section, all the instruments are kind of building to that chorus. You know, she don't care. And I changed my bass drum pattern to she don't to feel that build into the chorus. And then that fill to kind of finish it, and then cymbal to mark the beginning of the chorus. So again, that fill is just 1, 2, 3, 4, kick, 1, 2, 3, 4, kick, 1, 2, 3, 4, kick. Then we just have another chorus. So this is into the bridge or the middle eight. I naturally do this little thing where I play a note at the end of the choruses. I don't know why, it's just habit, but it sounds quite good. You hear it here. I think I do a hi-hat. That widow with 5 colors in her hair. Super basic, but it's just a little thing that just adds a bit of, I don't know, something. I think I do the ride bell as well sometimes. Like, widow with 5 colors. Just playing a little note in between in the break just to get some attention. So right into the middle eight or the bridge or whatever you want to call it. It's got this little fill around the toms, which is what is that? It's pretty basic. It's just quite fast. So this is just 4 notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, left, right, left. Right, left, right, left. That has a name. Not sure what the name is. Actual drummers will know. It's a 4-stroke roll. So it's 3 notes quick and 1 note slow. So the last left is slower. So quick, 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 slow. So if you just played that on your knees, da 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 da, and that's often the beginning sort of phrase of a fill. Da 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 da. So the beginning of that fill is basically 3 notes fast, 1 note slow. So right, left, right, left. So the right, left, right is done faster, and the last left is slower. Right, left, right, left. Right, left, right, left. And again, do it slowly and then build up faster to the point where you can do the fill. So that fill is so it's just a nice fill that takes you round the toms, the different tones, the different notes, round into the crash, and then you're into the bridge, which I play on the ride cymbal. So it just adds a different kind of colour, and again lets you know subconsciously or consciously that, oh, we're into a new section now. And I don't always have 3 toms. I've started playing with 3 toms again, just because sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I have 2 toms down here and just 1 up here, but I'm liking having the 2 rack toms. So it starts on this high tom and just goes all the way around. So, but real time, that's more like. That's quite hard with the microphone. And I just keep that hi-hat open and it kind of just rings out nicely whilst the tom's playing, and then I close it when I'm into the section. So this next part is a similar rhythm to the verse and the choruses, but just on played, moving that right hand from the hi-hat to the ride cymbal. Playing through, there's a couple of pushes in there that are just accents. I think they accent what the guitars are doing. I'll play it through and have a listen. And then it goes into this bit where Tom squeezes his nuts and sings really high. And this, I kind of play a different part each tour. I like the part I played on this anthology tour, so I'll play that. And this part is like a halftime section. So like I was saying in the second verse, there's that halftime bit. So I'll play through that. Listen out for the accents on the cymbal in the middle 8 section. And then I'll play through it. All right, here we go. So yeah, I could hear what I was playing there was different to the to what I played then. But you know, so just like vibe it out, just a bit of jazz improv. Yeah, so into the middle 8. Boom, 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 boom. Push and push. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is the She Went Insane bit. So I count it in on the hi-hats, and here I think I play a little fill into it. Let's have a listen. She was all I thought about, the girl I couldn't live without. But then she went insane. Okay, cool. Cool. So then she went insane. 1, 2, clap, doos, da, do, do, do. So it's the 2 count on the hi-hat. 1, 2. Okay, so snare, tom, tom, tom. Snare, tom, 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 cymbal. So 2 count on the hi-hat. 4 beats in a bar, remember? You won't remember because I haven't told you that yet, but you should know that. So we're doing 2 count on the hi-hat, and then for the other 2 counts, we're going to fit in the fill, which is snare, tom, tom, tom. 1, 2. Now on the second snare, I'm adding a little, which is called a ghost note. So the main note is the right hand, but I'm adding this little ghost note beforehand to make it sound like this. Okay? So we got the then she woke. And then we're into the halftime bit. So I play quite a few notes on this right hand. So these are 16th notes. So if you can't play them, just keep it simpler. Just play 8th notes, which would just be. Which still sounds cool. Sometimes I still do that. But I'll show you the 16th note version. And yeah, just play the whole way through. It's all about just the groove here, making it sound really cool, nice and tight. And then there's just a fill to get out of it. And then we're back into the build into the last chorus. So I'll play it for you now one more time. Now this bit goes on for ages. This is called Milking It by Tom Fletcher. And I have to wait for him to go, she's just a weirdo. So I sit there at the back like, get on with it, mate. I never miss it, only Dougie misses it. Hardest bit in the song. Right, now the build-up. This is the build-up with the toms. Toms and snare. Trying to just build it up, make it exciting. So after Tom's milked it and I've fallen asleep, I wake up and then I count us all back in. on the hi-hats. 1, 2, 3, 4. And Danny plays the riff. And I play this part on the toms. And I'll show you what I do. I'm not really sure what it is I do, but let's figure it out. Right, it's that. So I'm going to play it super slow for you now. So hopefully you can see what it is I'm doing. Maybe I'll be able to explain. Maybe I won't. Let's see. So that's it played slow. And now if I speed it up, you can again move this left hand around these toms to make it a bit more dynamic and exciting, and maybe add some faster stuff down here. So let me play that for you now. Now, it's obviously not that long, but something along those lines. And I keep the hi-hat going as well, because not sure if you guys out there can hear it. And even if you could, you're definitely not looking at my hi-hat during that bit. Hopefully you're just feeling the excitement. Yeah, it just adds another layer to it. So yeah, that just builds up right to the end of the riff. So, everybody wants to know. So, everybody glad to go. So that's playing against the rhythm. So that's a one triplet, do, and then it goes back into that straighter, swingy feel. So I'll just play that in real time. And I put a little, you notice in this song, I put a few double kicks on the bass drum. So a double kick is often something I'll do before I play a snare hit. So instead of it just being, it'll be this. A double kick sounds more like this. So instead of, it just sounds exciting and fun. I used to overdo it, but now I just try and save it for little moments. So you can hear here, everybody. So the single kick would be, by putting a double kick, which sounds like, and then add the cymbals, everybody. So I'll play that in context now. Yeah. Right, I got a bit ahead of myself there, but so after that fill, straight back into a chorus. Chorus is the same as the other choruses, except the second half of it, I start playing stacks. So I go from which is literally as simple as that, just two things happening. So these are happening at the same time, and this is happening in the other beat. So so from and at the beginning of that phrase of snare notes, I intro it with a double kick, which sounds like this. And then in the halfway, and then finish on the one. So let me just play that through, have a listen. Right, so there we go. And then before that bit, actually, there is another fill that I play live. Let's just have a listen to that. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that is. So that is kick with the crash, but the 2 kicks, so another note comes after the crash. So dun dun da 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 dun dun da 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 da. But in real time, it's more like so. But full out, it's like this. One more time, slowed down, that is. And then the stacks. Fill. So again, it's use the hi-hat to count in the fill. Danny counts it in as well. With 5 colours. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that fill could be whatever you want. You can make up your own fill. I tend to do one of 2 things. Here I do this. So it's just snare, kick, tom, tom, kick, kick, snare. So snare, kick, tom, tom, kick, snare. So glat and glat and glat. Glat and glat and glat. So snare, kick, right, left, kick, snare. And then faster. You notice I'm playing 2 hands with the snare here and splitting the note slightly. That's, for those who don't know, it's called a flam. So if you're just playing one note, it would just be. But if you split the note slightly, you get that. Can you hear that? Bleh. It's called a flam. So flam, snare, tom, tom, kick, snare. So flam on the snare. Flam, kick, tom, tom, kick, flam. Flam, kick, tom, tom, kick, flam. So. Another one I like to do is just play the right, left, kick, right, left, kick, right, left, kick throughout the fill, which is like this. So again, it's played fast. That sounds really impressive, but it's really quite simple. It's literally right, left, kick, right, left, kick. So in the song here, it would be. One, two. 1, 2. Slow. So if you want to play that, you've just got to take your time like the first fill. Remember, the first fill is right, left, kick, right, left, kick. This one is just right, left, kick, right, left, kick. But just patience and time and practice means you can do it fast around the kick and sounds quite impressive, but is really quite simple. So one more time. That's the same thing, but just moving your hands around. So right, left, kick, kick, right, left, kick. So it's a really good one to learn because it means you can do loads of cool stuff. So yeah, that's just the fill. And then we just go back into the riff, go round the song one more time, and then at the end, some of you may know this already, we just jump back into that halftime fill, which I do in the middle, the drop down bit and the second verse. So you know how to play the last bit. The end of the song just goes into halftime. 2 things to take away from this. Enjoy it if you want to try it, and then also if you can't quite do it yet, start off slowly. That's the most important thing. It's still something I do now when I'm learning something new. Always start off slowly and just repetition. Just keep doing it over and over again. It's so tempting to just speed up and try and do it fast, but it's not going to sound good fast until you can do it slow. And actually, some of the harder songs to play live or in any setting are really slow songs like ballads, because you're so exposed. And if we want it to feel good, it's got to almost be perfect or close to perfect. Because people don't really want to notice the drums. They want to hear the melody and all the other bits. So my one piece of advice, it's boring, but just always practice everything super slow first, because then when you play it fast, it's going to sound better. You know, I see a lot of the videos you guys send in. It's great when I see covers and stuff. But again, if I was teaching any of those people or giving advice to them, it would be just stop completely and start again super slow. And you won't be able to notice that in your playing until you know, in 5 years' time or 1 year's time, depending on how much you can practice, when you look back on videos of yourself and go, oh, God, I see now I'm so much better than I was, like, which is great. Like, I thought, you know, when I was 18, I thought I was pretty good. And I look back now and I'm like, oof, God, I sucked. You know, so naivety is a good thing because you just go for it and you don't want to be held back by feeling, you know, insecure or nervous about your playing. But unfortunately, the better you get and the older you get, the more you feel insecure and stuff about your playing. Every musician feels it. So you just got to fight through that, practice and practice slow. All right. Hope you enjoyed that.